Hello and welcome back to episode number 2 of the Drop Bear Downpour podcast. And we're going to get straight into it today because this one's a long one. We cover all the juicy stuff. We're going to kick it straight back off with Jarod talking about what it's like for him on fight night and when he gets the most nervous being the partner of a fighter. And then we're going to recap the fight itself. So there's a lot that goes into this one, and a shout out at the end to everyone that has supported me, that has sponsored me or worked with me. So we will recap some sponsors there. And for those of you that are listening just on an audio only platform, at the very, very end, Jarod does bring over the belts for me to put on. So if you're wondering what he's saying when he's saying I couldn't not bring them over, that's what he's referring to. So make sure you jump onto a video format if you want to see that. Otherwise, feel free to just skip through it. So without further ado, let's get into it.
So yeah, obviously, when I'm out the back and I'm helping you prepare and warm up and do all those type of things, I'm busy. I'm staying busy. So the nerves aren't really too bad in that part of the night. And then
you got other things to focus on.
Yeah,
focusing on the task at hand.
And then from when the people running the fight show, whoever it may be, the person looking after the red or blue corner, comes into the change room and kind of says, "Righto, it's time to go." From that point in time, you kind of are a bit with yourself from that moment. Like you like to be in the front, and our coach Rod, he likes to give you that moment too. So we kind of hang back a little bit and let you kind of peek your head around the curtains and have a look at the crowd and get yourself amped up for the fight. And I'm probably checking the bucket, making sure we've got towels and water and all that type of stuff. But once that music hits, it is kind of and you take the first kind of 2, 3, 4 steps. That's probably when I'm most nervous. It is at that point in time. If you could call it nerves, it might be excitement. I'm not sure, but yeah. And then you turn the corner and walk out first, and as soon as I around the corner or come back from behind the curtains and see you jumping around, seeing you embracing the crowd, smiling, singing along to I Prevail or whoever it might be.
It's always I Prevail.
Yeah.
It's always Rise, but I Prevail.
Yes. It kind of settles my nerves again, and then get another little spike when I give you a kiss and a hug before you get in the cage. And I always say the same thing to you, which is have fun, and you always do. So that's kind of like my little send off. Like, she's about to go in there, do her thing, and come away with the W, and she's going to have a bloody good time doing it. And you can see it every time you fight, big smile on your face. You love being in there, and makes it a lot easier for me as well, seeing how happy you are.
Yeah, and I think too, you've seen me win a lot, but you have also experienced what seeing me lose. And I think that's probably also helped in terms of like, if you look at the photos from that night when I lost, you would have thought that I won because the smile is still just as big.
Yeah, 100%. Victory or defeat, you're out there having the best time of your life. So,
obviously,
it's amazing.
Losing sucks and
course,
taking a loss sucks, but I still have the best time in there regardless. And even out the back, I'm always still grateful that I get to do this, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. And you know that one fight that I've been in your corner for that you have lost, it was a close fight and it could have gone either way in my opinion. So it's not like you were dominated and you had a terrible performance. It probably wasn't the performance you wanted that night, but
no, and that's it. Like that. Those things happen.
You still had that 3-round fight, and you got that work in, and we come away from that fight with a lot of things to work on and a lot of things to develop, and a
lot of lessons though that I take into other things like this fight. That particular fight, I was battling an injury. I actually tore my shoulder, and so like that was tough because I only had a couple of weeks from when I was allowed to even start using it
Yeah.
to do anything, type, pick up things, whatever. I only had a few weeks to get ready for that fight, and that was really difficult for me, and I know that probably would have been a bit difficult for you, seeing me constantly like stressed and worried and sort of not believing in myself too, or struggling to believe in myself, because I had that mental block about the injury too.
Yeah.
And then obviously during the fight I had that block, but what that fight gave me is it gave me that ability to, like, in the last round I actually trusted my body, so I didn't throw my right hand or really strike much at all. And then last round I finally trusted my body and just went, you know what, stuff it, let's go, let's throw it, and I was having so much success with it, and I was like, oh, why didn't I trust in myself from the beginning? Even if it's injured, just go with it anyway.
Yeah. And it's that constant learning experience too, learning not only what your strengths and weaknesses are in the fight, but what your strengths and weaknesses are mentally as well. And you're always, something I admire is you're always looking to improve. You're always looking to better yourself, your training, how you approach things, and that fight kind of gave you that ability to trust yourself when you do have those little doubts creep into your mind, and not only with that fight, but now with Rob as well. I can definitely see how much that you commit and trust yourself in those little moments, and it's that little split second decision making that I think makes a difference as well.
Yeah, I agree. And pushing through adversity is something that, is difficult to do. And, in terms of like trusting yourself, especially with things like injuries or any kind of mental blocks that you may have. And I feel like I unlocked another level that night. So regardless, I'm still grateful that I had that fight and that I experienced those less than perfect circumstances, and I learnt that I can trust my body and I can push through anything, and that you can get over injuries even while you're still, I mean, technically I was still injured when I did it, and I only had a couple of weeks to get ready, so I wasn't in the best athletic ability, or I wasn't in the best, I definitely wasn't able to necessarily bring the best package compared to what I had previously. I bought the best possible package that I could, given I only had a couple of weeks to do it, and that I had an injury, and all of those kind of things. So that fight was really important to me and stuff, and I did take a lot out of that, which has helped in other fights as well. So I was still super grateful, and I had a great time, and I had a great fun fight. I had so much fun in that fight, and it was my first rematch, and that was against Macca Jean, who is an incredible fighter and athlete herself. And I love fighting her. I could fight her a million times, and I think every single fight would be so much fun and it would be so entertaining, because she's also very entertaining, and I like to think that I'm a very entertaining fighter as well. So like, losing sucks, but I took so much out of that fight.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen you use that in your performances following that. So since that, you had 2 wins. One was for a championship, for a
3.
title, and then this one.
Oh, yeah. So 3 in total.
3 in total, including this last title fight.
Yeah.
But we had 2 fights in between that fight and this title fight that you had on the weekend. And the growth I've seen throughout those 3 fights has been like exponential. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's been 3 fights in quite a short amount of time. Well, actually, like the last since February 2022, so only just over a year, I've had 7 enduro,
6
gamma.
Oh,
Emily.
you including enduro? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 7.
7. Yeah.
For 7 fights since February last year.
Busy schedule.
That's a lot. So short time frame, but massive improvements in everything, in every area of my game. Like from my training every day at Nova, like I've come leaps and bounds in every aspect of my ability as a fighter. Like as an athlete with my strength and conditioning coach and my dietitian has just like, it is insane. I have obviously dropped 2 weight divisions, but still pretty much maintained all the same level of strength. If anything, I'm probably stronger now than even when I was bigger. And bringing in the mental coach has just really, like, even in a short amount of time, has just unlocked so many levels.
Definitely, yeah.
In saying that though, you still have to do the hard work. There's plenty of people that have, MMA training, they have dietitians, they have strength and conditioning coaches and all that kind of stuff, and they don't see the success. It's because you find the people that are going to give you the correct advice and guidance, but you still have to put the hard work in. So, that's part and parcel of it as well.
Yeah, and all of that culminated to your most recent fight in a weight division that you haven't fought at before. It was a new weight class. You did have a catch weight fight at 59 kilos.
But then went back up again.
2 fights ago before you went back up.
Back down.
And this was kind of the icing on top of the cake that was your amateur MMA career.
Yeah, so this was bringing a closing to my amateur MMA career. And I think that's also part of why this whole thing was so special. So last year I set out to achieve something that, to my knowledge, has never been done before in MMA, or if it has, it would be incredibly rare, and that is to become a triple weight division champion, which we managed to pull off, which is insane. And obviously that's pretty much over a 10 kilo weight range, which is insane. And yeah, I guess we'll get into it. So Sunday last week, so a week from today, it's been 7 days already. That is insane.
It has.
Insane. Prep when I guess as good as it can. Like obviously, as with any fight, you have some injuries, you have some niggles, you have some things that you have to overcome, some stresses, some hurdles, some barriers. Anyway, we get in there and facing a really, really tough opponent, the hometown girl, that's, again, another phenomenal opponent who's been training. She's been training a lot longer than I have. She's been training, I guess you could say she was pretty much born into the sport. Like she's been training since she was very, very young.
Yeah, very accomplished Muay Thai fighter, and obviously has a lot of BJJ tournament wins as well under her belt. So well-rounded opponent, and one that wasn't taken lightly, that's for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, we went out there and we put on such a performance, and I'm so happy and stoked because what I really wanted to do was utilize the platforms that are given to me to showcase women's MMA. So again, Diamondback putting up their first ever women's flyweight title, and giving us the co-main event spot, and allowing us that platform to showcase women's MMA, and we did an incredible job. The fight was a 5-round war. We had the crowd going wild. We showcased, so many different bits and pieces and elements of MMA. It wasn't, just fought in one spot. It was, we really did showcase all of the elements of MMA, which I was super happy and proud of. And yeah, one big thing that for me, I did overcome some adversity. So for anyone who watched the fight, or at least seen some of the photos afterwards, my opponent and I were drenched in blood, head to toe. If you've seen photos of me after, it looked like I had a really, really bad tan because I was bright orange. It did make for some epic photos, epic.
Yep.
So, and just letting you all know I'm perfectly fine. So what happened was, I guess, probably one of my biggest biggest fears in training, in thinking about a fight and what can go wrong, and, you know, one of those mental blocks to doing something. So if you like grappling and you think about, you know, trying to take someone down, you have to find a moment to shoot in. And I guess one of my biggest fears leading into this fight was picking the wrong time to shoot in for a takedown. And, you know, we've seen it many times before where someone goes to shoot in right as someone is throwing a kick or a knee and copping it right in the face. And I did exactly that. I had my opponent hurt too. I just thrown a nasty spinning back fist after having thrown, you know, a right hand and that as well.
That entire first round was a really good round for us. Again, like that spinning back fist, right hand, you were landing some good leg kicks
and some jabs. Well. Even the opening jab was really nice.
Yeah, finding your range and
and then I got a little bit overzealous, knowing that I'd, you know, just landed this beautiful spinning back fist, and it wasn't even that I got overzealous. I just waited too long.
Yeah,
I just waited way too long, because I was trying to make sure that I didn't get overzealous, and I waited far too long. And then I shot in right as my opponent threw up a kick, and I headbutted a shin, and it was, you know, so wonderful. And it was like, you know, when you do something and you have that moment just before it happens where you're like, oh shit. That's exactly what happened. I see the hip move and I was like, oh, this is going to hurt. And copped the shin right across the bridge of my nose, the shin or the knee or whatever it was. I think it was the shin right across the bridge of my nose, and it goes rolled up my head. And in the moment where I was like, oh, crap, this is going to hurt, I was also like, oh, well, keep going. Don't, no reactions, be indifferent, whatever. If you end up getting knocked out, you get knocked out. But you're like, in my mind, I was like, you are not going to let anything stop you tonight.
Yeah, 100%. That happened right in front of our corner, and I saw it land flush, and I didn't even have a moment of worry or anything, because as soon as it happened, you clinch her up against the fence and you land like 2 or 3 hard body shots.
I was throwing
in the clinch and some uppercuts as well. So
yeah,
I knew you were still in the fight, and I knew you still your head was still there, and it didn't rock you really at all. It was more just the damage to the nose.
Yeah, and I think that's because, like, obviously I knew that I was shooting in, and I had my posture right, and I was really strong, you know, in the way that I did it. So I think that I was already braced for you know, impact. Was hoping that it was going to be a takedown, but shin to the face, whatever it is. And yeah, I was 100% still there. It actually didn't really hurt me at all. It just, you know, I just got this lovely blood nose, but I get blood noses all the time, every sparring session. Yeah. I get blood noses with temperature changes. I've had blood noses in most fights that I've ever had, and every time the commentators say that my nose is broken, I'll let you guys know. Have never broken my nose before. Still haven't. But so for any other commentators out there, it is super normal and common. I get blood noses like every second training session.
Oh yeah.
Sharing the blood. Sharing is caring, right? So just sharing the love.
That's it. And the good thing was too, like you both you girls were bleeding. I think one of the first couple opening shots actually started making her nose bleed as well.
Yeah, the first jab I landed, she come in to kick me, and I landed a jab, and I saw it straight away. She had just a little trickle of blood out of her nose. I think she might have wiped it, but yeah, she had a blood nose first, but hers was definitely not as bad as mine.
No, she got you back pretty good for that one.
Yeah, she did. And so that was sort of towards the end of that opening round. Like I had a lot of success in that round, and then I decided to headbutt a shin because, the fight wasn't interesting enough for me. So did that. And then, clinched up, was landing some uppercuts and stuff. And then the round was over. And then my nose starts bleeding everywhere. And I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Smiling, hyping up the crowd in between rounds.
Hyping up the crowd.
It.
Yeah. And then the rest of the fight was it was so much fun. Bits and pieces of everything. There was punches, there was kicks, there was knees. Obviously no elbows because it was an amateur fight.
But if there was.
But yes. And plenty of takedowns, reversals, there was everything. It was so much fun. A lot of cool cage work and, some dirty boxing and some really nice technical striking as well. It was honestly so much fun. And I really found the work that I'd been doing with Rob was just so good, and I didn't even have to think about it when I was fighting. I was so present in everything that was happening in that fight and so present in the moment. I wasn't overthinking things or thinking this is going to hurt or, am I winning? Am I losing? I wasn't even thinking, I didn't even think about, what the impact of that shooting into a shin would be. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was so present in the moment and doing what I was doing. And we'd worked on that to, sometimes people stand around and they admire their work. And I was just making sure I was super present and wasn't doing anything like that. But I was so present that I was actually hearing my opponent's corners. And I was hearing that and quite often reacting faster to it than what my opponent was sort of able to do. So I was kind of anticipating, what that she was going to do based on what they were saying to her as well, which was really, really cool. And really just, listening to my corner in between rounds, I felt like I was super, super present in terms of I was actively talking back to you guys. So my coach Rod would give me instructions, and because I'm sort of predominantly an auditory learner, I would then make sure that I would repeat it back. And then I'd also be like, and can you repeat to me what the first thing you said was? Because he gave me a piece of information, then gave me another piece of information. Then I repeated the second part back, but then I was like, can you repeat to me what the first one was again? So that's the last thing in my head before I go out.
Yep. And I knew you were having a good performance and performing well. It's my job to call out the time in the round, and every time call out that I gave, you would either give a little head nod or something that would acknowledge the fact that you heard it. And in all the positions in the fight, I think that you were getting the upper hand in most of them and doing exactly what you wanted to do, which is ultimately what got the job done.
Yeah, that's it. And I felt so happy and just bliss. And obviously, I did put out a clip, and I'll put it up here. So this clip is, it's absolutely me to a T. I was all fight. I was, finding opportunities where I was smiling and just having fun. And that's pretty normal, but it's a pretty little iconic piece of footage where I know Jarod's actually just given me the time, telling me that there's, not long left. There's under 30 seconds or there's 20 seconds or something like that. And I've heard him, a few more seconds have passed, a breakaway because we were on the cage prior to that. And then I'm just, I've got blood all over my face, got the biggest smile in the world. I look at my opponent, I smile, and I just start throwing and just sort of egg her on to come towards me so that we can close out this fight together, this absolute war that we had, covered in blood and just throwing, and the biggest smile on my face, and just,
crowd going wild for it.
Yeah, that's it. The crowd was just, like that. Before we walked out for the last round, in between rounds, as the seconds and the corners are getting out of the cage, I turned around and addressed the crowd, and I was, making them get on their feet and making them sort of pick up the energy and the pace and really sort of, welcome us into that last round. And that was awesome. And the crowd at Diamondback, the crowd in Adelaide were awesome. They really got around us girls, and they were vocal all night with the fights and stuff like that. And you could see that MMA fans have really evolved over time too. They've got an appreciation and understanding of the sport as a whole now. And you could really see that as well in terms of hearing when they would cheer and, what they were reacting to and stuff as well. So that's really, really cool. Really, really cool to see. And yeah, they were awesome. And then, so the fight ends. I'm covered in blood and my opponent and I are embracing. And then obviously you guys, do you want to run me through what it's like for you when as soon as that, final bell goes, and obviously you guys have got to get up from the corner and stuff?
Yeah, so in your past couple fights, there have been stoppages, so I haven't really had to have that moment where I'm thinking about the fight as a whole and what rounds were yours and what rounds were close and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I was confident when the last two to goes, me and Rod fist bumped or high fived or something and give each other a bit of acknowledgement, like that was good. And walking up the stairs to go into the cage after the fight. Obviously, both corners are trying to get into the cage, and I think I might have given one of them a fist bump and said good fight. Like the crowd loved it, and the girls put on a show. And
yeah, it was a cool moment because obviously, like, I always hug my opponents after a fight, but we embraced, and then we both went and saw each other's corners, and like we knew that was a great fight, and the crowd were just going off, and I think we were everybody in the cage at that point in time were super, grateful for having been able to put on an epic performance, and like we knew that we stole the show regardless of anything. We knew that we really put a stamp on our spot on the card, earning that, co-main event and that title, and just really got to showcase women's MMA, Australian women's MMA, and it was bloody awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool, and getting into the cage while the scorecards are being added up, and they're going through all that process, and the ref is reading the scorecard from the announcer and all that. I don't know if you can put it in, but I give just a little fist pump. I'm walking from one side of the cage to the other, and then I've had a moment to think about the fight, and I'm like, yeah, she's got this.
Yeah, the funny thing was, like, I was so confident. I didn't have to actively think about it. I was like, yeah, I'm about to get this belt wrapped around my waist. I cannot believe I've achieved this, dream. Like, I didn't second guess it or think about it or anything. Like, I was so happy in everything that had happened in my performance, and I was just like, and it's so funny. I watch it back, and you watch them. Okay, we're going to the judge's decision, and I'm just like elated. My face is so happy. I'm smiling. I'm just like, I've got the widest eyes and like the biggest smile. And they say, by split decision, and you see everyone else on screens kind of face be like, hang on, what? But like it just didn't even faze me at all, because I was like, I know I've got this. Like this is my belt, this is my title, this is my moment. And so like you watch the footage, and my face just doesn't even change at all. Not like just don't even acknowledge it. And then they raise my hand. They say from the red corner. They raise my hand, and I do have another one of those moments like my very first MMA fight where I can't figure out what I'm doing, and I'm doing all of the celebrations. I'm jumping up and down, and then I'm on my knees, and then I'm like screaming, and then I'm like, okay, I just can't figure it out. And they're trying to put the belt on me, and I'm moving around. They'd be like trying to put a nappy on a kid or something. Like, So what's that moment? What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, well, going back a tiny fraction of a second, when the announcer said split decision, I was a little bit taken back. I was like, I don't know how you could have that fight like that, but ultimately we got the decision, and I think it was the right decision. And I think I looked at you and how happy you were and the smile on your face and you were embracing the crowd, the moment, everything, just being super present. And I turned to Rod and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad they got that one right.
Yeah. And then obviously I've got the belts. You got my other belt and medal out.
I walking to the cage, I had a little a bag on with Danielle's previous 2 other weight division titles with us cage side, and ready for that moment where you become triple weight champ. And
yeah, it's something that I had envisioned for a long time. So how this all went down is actually the end of last year, and I'm gonna put it up on screen. But I had decided that this was going to be a dream and a goal of mine to be a triple weight division champion, and I made this wonderful photoshopped. I mean, it's not photoshopped at all.
Not at all.
Haters will say it's fake. Photo, and you'll see this one here was Henry Cejudo there, but it's got my lovely face over the top of it because I had one of my coaches sort of say, okay, what's the plans for 2023? And I just sent him this. And he had a laugh and he was like, okay, all right, let's do it.
Let's get to work.
And that proceeded to be what I gave to all of my coaches and being like, this is the goal, this is the dream. 3 weight divisions, 2 belts and a gold medal. And yeah, then so I had literally envisioned that moment. The moment that we'll get to in a second up on the cage, achieving that since last year. So it was a big goal, and it was something that hadn't been done before, and, you know, a lot of dedication and effort. And so obviously we took the belt and the medal. You got that out for me. I pop it. I've got the medal. You put the medal on me. You give me the other belt. I've got the 2 belts, and I obviously give my post-fight speech. The usual stuff, thanking my opponent, and obviously, you know, being super grateful to be able to showcase women's MMA, and, you know, thanking everyone that supports me, my sponsors, my coaches, my, you know, supporters, friends, family, everyone. What was it like for you? What's it like for you when I do my post-fight speeches and when I was there like covered in blood and I've, you know, you've put the medal on me and I've got the belts, and what was that like for you?
Yeah, it's just elation, just joy, happiness, and you talk so well all the time, and you talk so highly of the promotions that give you these opportunities, and you talk so highly of your opponents, and you're always so respectful, and that's something I love about you. You don't have to hate your opponents to fight them. You just go out there and you know it's a job to be done, and you go and do that job well, and it's just a culmination of weeks and months and years of hard work and dedication, and I see that day in, day out, and
yeah,
you know, just proud. I'm just proud of how you hold yourself and how you perform under pressure, and just super proud. And then usually by that time your mum's ran into the cage, and she's standing next to us. She
always sneaks away into the cage. No, to be honest, so like she never used to come into the cage until my last fight, because she obviously couldn't come to Amsterdam with us when I won the gold medal, when I won my world title. However, when I won the bantamweight title, there was no one in the world that was going to stop her from getting into the cage, and I'm pretty sure that night was her moment, not mine. She was, even before the decision was read, she was jumping up and down, screaming and squealing, and the biggest smile on her face ever. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that night was her night, her moment, and we were just living in it. But obviously on Sunday last week, that was my moment. It was my world, and everybody else was just living in it.
Yep.
And then obviously, so I jumped up on top of the cage, and you hand me the belts, and I have this incredible moment, and I'm so grateful for this moment. And I'll pop the footage up here. So this moment right here, where I'm up on top of the cage, and I've got the gold medal on, I've got a belt on each shoulder, I've got blood streaming out of my nose, I'm covered in it, streaming down my face, and I just have this moment where I'm up on top of the cage, and I'm just there and I'm just celebrating. I'm so just ecstatic, and I cannot believe, that I've managed to pull off this dream. But that moment right there, that piece of footage right there, the camera angle, everything, this whole thing has been so surreal to me. And part of the reason why is that moment there, that piece of footage is like it was taken out of my brain. That is exactly what I've been envisioning and visualizing when I've talked about wanting to become this triple weight division champion. And I think that's why it seems so surreal. It doesn't seem real to me. It looks like it feels like I've just watched a movie, or it feels like I didn't do that, someone else did, or it just doesn't feel real because I feel like I must just be watching a movie and I've directed it or something, because it is exactly what I was envisioning in my head. So it is so crazy to see it like in real life, in footage, and when I did that. So when I'm on top of the cage and I'm screaming and I'm like crying and I'm, all of those moments, what was that like for you?
Oh, just the same as before.
Yeah.
Just elation, like, just so proud, and just admiration as well for how amazing you are and everything that you do and achieve, and
how does it feel that you get to share that moment with me? Like, that is just as much you as it is me. Like, I couldn't be me without you, and I couldn't do the things that I do without you, and I wouldn't have the success without you, like, because it's all the things that we do day in and day out, and all of the support that you do for me day in and day out. Like, those moments, that they don't happen without the daily things that you do for me and for us, and that we do together. So what's it like being able to share in everything together?
being able to share it is amazing. But I'm honestly, I do not think about me once in those situations. It's all you. That's all your hard work, all your dedication, and yeah, I might be the supporting act, but you're the main character in that story, and
only in those moments.
Yeah, in that moment, I'm just thinking this is your moment. You deserve it, and I'm just so happy and proud to be able. It is good to be able to share it, but
because the next thing that happened is I hopped down and then we kiss. I get to have my lovely
blood was shed.
So I give him a big kiss, and obviously I've got blood all over my face, streaming out of my nose. I give you a big kiss, and it puts blood all over your face as well, because what's mine is yours. Yeah,
always.
Yeah, and sharing's caring. So we get to have matching blood on our face, and then you pick me up, you put me on your shoulders, and we have that beautiful moment as well. And there is this hilarious photo. I'll put it up here. Where this moment where I'm on his shoulders, I'm covered in blood. I've got the blood nose, the belt, the medal, and Jarod is sharing as with everything in life, the same look. He's got the blood on his face. And then I noticed there's some footage there as we get our photo together, the team, Jarod, my mum, my coach Rod, and myself, when we're getting photos there. And he does a quick little, he realizes that he's got the blood on his face. He does a quick little wipe just to double check before we
before we get the candids of the team together at the end of the fight with the belt.
Yeah,
gotta make sure I'm looking good.
Yeah.
Not that you weren't with the blood.
Oh, it looked amazing.
You were having the best time and smiling all the way through it.
My coach, actually, before they read the decision, was coming over trying to wipe my nose and stuff, and then he went to wipe my face, and I just said, "Leave it, leave it. I love it.
Yeah,
it's my war paint."
That's it.
And he looked at me and went, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Give me your mouth guard."
Yeah, he knew you were going to talk.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So it was an incredible moment, and just an incredible feeling. And as I said, it still feels incredibly surreal. And I'm just really proud of, obviously pulling off something like that was cool and whatever, but being able to showcase women's MMA and to showcase how incredible us female athletes are and really, utilize the platform that we had and the opportunity that we had. And I'm really grateful, and I'm really grateful to have been able to share that moment in the cage with another amazing female athlete who's going to go super, super far as well. And I think that footage that Diamondback has of that fight, they're going to have that in the bank and be playing it for a long time, especially when both of us are in the big leagues, because I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. Talia's got a long career ahead of her, and she can be proud of the performance that she put in last weekend as well. And she's going to go on to do big things in this sport.
Absolutely. And yeah, as I said on the night, like, make sure that you guys follow her and follow her journey. And I obviously I'll be going pro very, very soon, so I will have to vacate all of the belts that I hold. And I definitely think that she should be fighting for that title again next against whoever that shall be. But I think once I've vacated, I think she will likely be the holder of that belt, and I'll obviously go on to do some big things in the sport as well. And I'm sure we will see both of us in the big leagues very soon. So that was it. That was the fight night. And then obviously after the fights, we watched the main event. I caught up with everyone that was there to see me, and a lot of other people from Adelaide that I do know. Talia's from a great gym, and I know quite a few people that have either trained with her or train at her gym or the places in Adelaide. And, it sucked being on the opposite side to them, and I look forward to being at a fight show when we get to both be on the same team. But I did go and catch up with all of them after, because as I always say, it's never ever personal. It's you got to go in there and do the job that you've set out to do. But yeah, I hold I don't have to hate my opponent and anything like that. I like to support everyone that steps in the cage, because I don't get to do what I do without my opponents. And so yeah, it was awesome to catch up with all the awesome fighters and trainers and coaches and all of the people from Adelaide. After the fight as well. And watched the main event, caught up with heaps of people, got some photos, chatted. That's just what I love to do. I love fighting, and I love all of the people in the combat sports community. And went back to the hotel, and then we went and got food, and it was like 2 a.m. or something like that. And
by the time you've said hello and goodbye to everyone,
like literally everybody
in the venue.
Okay, yep. Sorry.
get back to the hotel room and then go grab a feed and
then go. I am starving. And the only places that were open were KFC and a kebab shop. So I got a kebab and he got KFC, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and then the night's done.
Yeah,
that's it. We came into enemy territory and took the treasure and we were taking it back home then. So early flight on Monday morning, the morning after the fight, and back home to Newcastle with the spoils of war. And
yeah, that's it. And for anyone that was, worried about me, as you can see, I'm fine. I had a blood nose. I get blood noses literally every training session. I'm all good. I didn't take any damage other than, headbutting a shin. The body's feeling great. And you know what? We're rolling straight into the next fight. It's only 3 weeks, or just under 3 weeks now, until I make my professional debut, which again is another thing that like people don't generally do. They don't generally fight back to back, for just under 4 weeks apart. Number one. Number two, they don't generally take fights that close together, jumping from amateur to professional. But the other thing is that this fight is another co-main event, and it's actually another title. It's for a professional title. on Enduro Fight Series in Canberra. So we'll be heading to Canberra in a few weeks, which is kind of like my home away from home.
Yep.
I lived in Canberra for 8 years. Now both my opponent and I are making our pro debut, and you're probably wondering, well, how did this become a professional title fight, jumping straight into 5-minute rounds? Well, it's because my opponent and I are actually both very well accomplished. Even though we are amateurs, we both hold current world titles. So mine was obviously at Gamma and hers was at IMAF. So there's that. Obviously, I hold those other 2 titles as well that we've talked about. But both of us have been super, super active as well. In the last year, we've both had a large number of fights. And that has put us ranked very, very high on the pound for pound list, which is all female fighters, all weight divisions, AMI and pro across Australia and New Zealand. So we're actually both ranked very, very highly, that we're ahead of a lot of the other fighters in AMI and professional ranks. And given that we both already hold those world titles, that's why it was afforded to us to be a professional title, which I can't thank the promotion enough, and Massa, which is the body that's putting the belt up, for allowing us and recognizing us women, to, again, this platform to be able to fight on and showcase ourselves. And I think that this is going to be an absolutely incredible matchup. But between the 2 of us, we're both very accomplished fighters, and it's going to be absolutely insane, and I can't wait. I'm so excited to get back in there and just do my thing. And we're going to put on another show, and I can guarantee you again, us women are going to steal the show from the boys. It's going to happen. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Us women do it the best.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. A nice prelim fight, this last one, to build into your professional debut, and potentially 5-minute rounds. So
jumping straight into fighting for half an hour.
more time to have fun. That's
it.
That's what I'm seeing it as, and I know how much you enjoyed in there, and it's just more time to get to work.
That's it. More time doing what I love. It's so exciting, and for the first time in 7 fights, well, it'll be 8 fights. You know what? I'm going to get to make the same weight again.
Yeah, that's you're not going to have to be jumping up and down like we've found our weight now, and we're going to run this shit up.
Yeah, that's it. And so we're going to be making flyweight again in a couple of weeks' time, and I think that's my weight division. That's where I'm going to stay. Obviously, I'm not closed off to opportunities. If opportunities arise at other weights, I would be open to them. However, I will say, as I've said before, it does take a lot of time, effort, energy, and stress jumping up and down weight divisions, changing your body composition, especially in those shorter time frames, to bring the best package that you can to each of those different weights. It is incredibly difficult, and I have been doing it successfully with my amazing team, but I'm looking to solidify myself in the flyweight division and take over and make my way into the big leagues very soon.
That's it. And nice little recap of what's kind of a little brief overview of the last year and a half, and then a bit more in depth onto the last fight that we had a week ago, and a little bit of a preview of what's to come as well for Drop Bear. And I'm so excited. I see you every day getting to work and loving the process and everything. So I'm just
That's
stoked.
it. Just grateful to be on this journey every day. Grateful to be able to, train, be able to, do all these bits and pieces. Like some days it's hard and some days it sucks, but just be grateful that you even get to do it. Like that you even have the ability to train and chase your dreams. And And I think that's a reminder to everyone that, you know, like I grew up in a small country town in the middle of nowhere. There was no martial arts. I'd never heard of it. I didn't know what any martial art was pretty much, other than, you know, I'd heard of karate. But other than that, you know, I didn't even know this sport existed. And I was trash at sport. I was terrible. I was not an athlete. I was not naturally gifted. But you guys, you know, you can do anything if you're willing to put in the hard work and, you know, chase those dreams. And I'll get out of the way here, but it's a pretty cool way to finish off the amateur career with the trifecta just here. Ooh. All right, this is really difficult.
It is. It's fucking hard.
So we've got the gold medal. That's the featherweight one from Amsterdam. The bantamweight title from Storm Damage. And then, whoa. And that's the brand new one just there from Diamondback. It is so pretty. I will say, I think that their amateur belt looked even better than their professional belt. So I'd just like to say thank you once again to Diamondback, because it's a beautiful belt. And I hope that myself and Talia did you guys proud. And I'm looking forward to hearing the fight of the night bonuses, because I definitely think that us girls took that for sure. I think we showed up everyone else. I think our performances were incredible, and I think we both deserve a fight of the night bonus. So I'm just going to leave that with you guys.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I got to watch a lot of the fights that night, and I might be a bit biased, but I definitely think you girls stole the show and put on the best fight of the night, 100%. And yeah, it couldn't happen, and it couldn't happen without the amazing people supporting you and all of that. And we've got them on the back of the shirt, so I might stand up and you can show off all the amazing sponsors you have.
Sounds good to me. Well, I'll start with this one right here. That is my gym, Nova Martial Arts, and that's pretty much where I live. I think I spend more time there than I do here at home. So, yeah, I couldn't do it without my incredible coach Rod, and my entire team at Nova that helped me prepare for war, and we all help each other. And it is an incredible place filled with incredible people, and I'm so grateful that I found that gym. Because, alrighty. Just stand up normal. Turn a little bit more. Yeah, cool. So guys, I'd just like to thank my sponsors and all the businesses that work with me and support me. So we have up the top here, Wise Buy Home Loans, local Newcastle business, helping people buy their homes, but it really helps. They really help with all finance needs. We have iGas. Now, they are a gas supplier, locally owned, operated, and yeah, competitive prices, but amazing, reliable customer service here. We have Dark Forge Society. That's a tattoo place in Warners Bay. They do some incredible tattoos. It is a place filled with some incredible people, incredible artists. Over this side, we have Air Media and Productions. Shout out to my boy Nick. I first met him over at Gamma. We became really good friends. And yeah, he supports me in my fighting journey, and he makes some incredible stuff. So if you're looking for some media stuff, guys, some edits, highlights, any kind of media and production stuff, you need help with production of, any kind of video content, hit him up. Over this side, we have New Focus Photography. That's my boy Jeremy. If you've seen any of my incredible photos, that's him. He is so passionate at what he does with photography, but also combat sports, and I'm so lucky to be able to work with him. Combatants here. Now they made these little graphics for me, actually, the ones on the front and this little drop bear on the back, and they're super talented, and they obviously stream combat sports. So they're awesome. I have some of my fights have been streamed on Combatant, so you can check them out there as well. Over this side, we have Savage Fightwear. Now, if you've ever watched me fight and you've wondered where those beautiful fight kits come from, that would be these guys. So yeah, I fight in fightwear from them, and train in fightwear, training gear, rash guards, jiu-jitsu gis, and all of that kind of stuff they do. One Valencia, that's my management. Shout out to Renee. He's helping me obviously find some opportunities, and hopefully can help me find some more sponsors very soon. But he helps and supports me in everything that I do. And here in the middle we have Cage and Canvas. You would have seen their beautiful gloves that I train in, and they're a local business as well that makes training equipment, so all different kinds of gloves and stuff like that. Skipping ropes, glove deodorizers, wraps, all of that kind of stuff. So give them a follow, and if you want a really nice pair of gloves, hit them up. And then these two down here, we have the Dojo Dietitian, so that's Ryan, and we have over this side Combat Health and Performance, that's Maddie Cass, my strength and conditioning coach. And we've talked extensively about those two, and how much they have helped me to become the best fighter and athlete that I can be. So a big shout out to them. And not listed on there is obviously my mental performance coach, Rob. I just want to say a massive thank you to you as well. You've only been on board with me for a short amount of time, but I've already seen such huge such huge differences, and really just been leveling up.
I couldn't not bring him over.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't not bring him over. Struggling to hold him, sitting down.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I guess that was the recap of the week that was. We're 7 days on after achieving such an incredible feat in mixed martial arts, becoming a triple weight division champion and closing out my amateur career. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that supports me, whether you've been here since day one or you've just started following my journey after the fight on Sunday night. You all mean the world to me. Everyone that has helped me train, or has ever sent me a message, has ever been a part of my journey, past, present, future. I'm going to thank everyone in advance that's going to tune in and follow me and support me. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I couldn't do this without you guys. You guys really helped me to be able to believe in myself, because there was a long period of time where I didn't, and it's always a struggle, but I really appreciate you guys. So thank you so very much. And the biggest thank you of all obviously goes to my wonderful partner that's sitting beside me, Jarod Berry. You are everything to me, and I couldn't be me without you, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life in all aspects. And thank you for being the jack of all trades. You're my partner. You are sometimes like a coach. You're, like a training partner. You're my cornerman. You're my biggest hype guy. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to be my doctor, and you have to be my therapist, and you have to wear many hats to help me out on my journey. And I'm so glad that I get to share everything in life with you, and we get to have these experiences together. And I look forward to the day that you have your first fight, and I get to be all of those things for you.
I'm the luckiest person in the world that I get to do that for you. So it's my pleasure. And flyweight professionals, flyweights, watch out. She's coming.
Beware the drop bear. Thanks, guys. And that's it. That's episode number 2 of the Drop Bear Downpour podcast in the books. Wow, what a journey. What a first 2 episodes. I'm so incredibly grateful to have been able to share this story with you, share the experiences, and share it with my partner, Jarod, because I think he brings such a valuable insight to what it's like from such a different point of view. So it's been a lot of fun. Now, we will get some more episodes to you soon. Obviously, I do have another giant fight coming up, so we will be working around that. But until I see you next time, thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, if you can help me get this podcast out there by following it along, whether it is, rating, reviewing, subscribing, whatever it is that you can do on whatever platform you choose to tune in on, I would be super, super grateful for that. And check us out on our Instagram for any sort of video highlights that we talked about throughout the episode. Until then, thank you so much, and I'll see you back here on the next episode of Drop Bear Downpour podcast. Thanks, guys. Bye.